wanted to take another little moment to talk about Moldavite. For those of you who do not know what Moldavite is, it's a very powerful, very foreign crystal. Actually comes from a meteor. It's material from another place entirely. And it's actually kind of low, I've heard. It's low in, like, you can't really find it as much right now because because I think people are starting to understand what it may or may not contain. We might never know, it might always be a mystery because, let's be real, science can only take us so far. The reason, though, that I wanted to talk about Moldavite today, and those of you who do know what it is are probably going, oh shit. I wanted to talk about it because Kyle Russell, who runs Portal Crystal Gallery in Arlington, Massachusetts, is a very special teacher and mentor and friend to me. And I've worked with him over the last year or two, and I didn't recognize until very recently just how much of an impact he's had on me and Moldavite through him has had on me. So, long story short, when I first met him, he was expressing how he felt about it, and I might have been in his shop and he was showing pieces of it because he always has a lot of it to sell. Highly recommend it. And then somewhere between hearing his story and like reading his book, which I also recommend, he was revealing just how impactful this stone had been on him and his journey. And what he said is that, what was it, 30 years ago or something like that, he was gifted a very small piece of Moldavite, and from that piece, that energy, his entire business, his entire career, his entire life was built. And I remember hearing that in passing, and it kind of washed over me like, oh wow, cool, okay. But I didn't really understand that was even possible, or like what that really meant. And then every time I was in a room with this crystal, every time I came anywhere even near it, I got so nauseous. I was like, I could not get close to it. I remember there was just this no, because certain substances, just like foods, trying to take them into your body, they just don't mesh well. They just don't sit well. It's just, a strong no. And that's the experience I was having around it for quite some time, for a good year or something. And then something shifted. I really couldn't tell you what. I'll probably have to make another video about that. But yeah, I just remember that something shifted, and I started to see myself more clearly. And I went one night to his shop for a group crystal meditation, and he pulled out a piece of Moldavite. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel nauseous. I didn't feel resistant to it. I just felt open. I felt like ready for it. And I had an incredible time, not just working with it, meditating with it, but actually touching it, holding it. I think I had it on my forehead and everything. And it opened something up. It really made a lot of sense to me. And if you work with crystals, if you work deeply in meditation like this and have, mystical experiences, if you will, this is one that, it just opened up a doorway, I guess you could say. And so I followed the doorway, and it led to another doorway. And a few weeks later, after that meditation, I was going on a little trip, you could say, to a cabin for like 10 days alone, so that I could cleanse. It was the fall. It was actually Halloween. The day I went was Halloween. And I was going there to cleanse, to drop in, and to really just let's just say cleanse. I was cleansing my body, I was cleansing my soul, I was cleansing my past, I was cleansing everything I could possibly drum up to cleanse. And I just knew that on my way there, like I couldn't go there without my own piece of Moldavite. I was finally ready to work with it. And I'll never forget, Kyle was so understanding of what I was saying, that this was Sunday morning. He was in Florida on a plane and just arriving back that morning. And yet he was still willing to drive to his shop to meet me there on my time so that I could have this peace for this journey I was going on. And I will always be so grateful for that. And if that's not proof of how devoted he is to his work and how much he believes, not just in Moldavite, but just in all of the crystals he works with, and I don't know what is. So he meets me there, and he already has some ideas in his head, and I sent him some photos of the ones that I knew he had that I liked, and we sat down, and I remember narrowing it down to like 6 pieces, boom, 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 and next thing I know, it was like right in front of me, staring me in the face. It was no question that this piece was not only like the right one, it was talking to me. And there's now an entire world that I have, an entire relationship with this crystal, because it is a very deep embodiment of my spirit guides, one in particular. And I'm actually wearing it right now. I'm not showing it on camera. It's under my shirt because there's also something about certain crystals, and for me this one, that I try not to expose it too much because the energy is that powerful and because it's that close to me. But the reason I mention that is because I can feel it right now. There's just something maybe charging or some information coming through. I don't know. All I know is he sent me off on my journey with that crystal and a few others that were there to assist, you could say. And I sat in that cabin on Halloween and for a week following, and I transformed. And I made a lot of big decisions in my life all in one moment. And I received things that I had never received before, and I let go of things that I didn't know I could let go of. And I finished my cleanse, and my body was renewed, and my hair dyed on my head, and then I chopped it all off. And I came back, and I started business coaching, and I launched my business, and I decided I was moving and gonna start traveling in a few months, which is now a week from now. And what I'm trying to say is I made, and I've continued to make, a lot of really, really big, bold decisions, following my heart and doing things that I have not been able to do before. And there is no doubt in my mind that this stone plays a massive role in what I'm doing, what I've been able to do, and what I'm creating. And if you know Kyle's story, or if you look into that at all, or just based on what I mentioned about it, he's had a similar experience. So I felt really called to share this because I wanted to thank him. Thank you, Kyle, so much. I know we sat and talked extensively about all this, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to thank you for the door that you've opened for me. And I just wanted there to be a little bit more awareness and like understanding of what is possible working with Moldavite, with this stone. And I couldn't recommend it more. I could not recommend it more. Of course, you're only gonna do it when you're ready. I was not ready for a long time, but now that I am, now that it's such a deep part of me, of my practice, of my life, yeah, it's a keeper.